These croissants are simply amazing, crispy on the outside and buttery, flaky with a nice golden color, and it's a perfect treat for brunch or breakfast. Then croissants are made of a layered yeast leavened dough, and traditionally the dough is layered with butter, rolled and folded several times in succession, and then again they are rolled into a sheet. But today we are going to make these wonderful homemade croissants in a different method, which is more easy, which takes very little time and effort than the traditional method. The taste and texture of these croissants are so amazing, and I really hope you will love this easy croissant recipe. And there is no special equipment or hard to find ingredient required. All that we need is a good technique. And to make these croissants, we need only three main ingredients: flour, butter and milk, and yeast as a leavening agent, and sugar and salt to add taste. So let's see how to make these wonderful croissants in three simple steps. The first and foremost step is to prepare the pastry sheet. The second step is to proof them, and the third step is to bake the croissants. To prepare the dough, the first thing we need to do is to activate the dried yeast. Yeast always need a sweet and warm environment to bloom up. So here I have taken 260 milliliters of warm milk, into which I've added 4 tablespoons of sugar and 1 teaspoon of active dry yeast. Stir them well and keep it aside for 5 to 6 minutes for the yeast to get activated. Now for the dry ingredients, let's add 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt into 400 grams of plain flour. Here I have used unbleached flour. You can use any type of plain flour. And now all we have to do is to blend together the wet and the dry ingredients. And another good thing about this dough is that we don't need to knead the dough. Just blend them together until we get a homogeneous, evenly hydrated dough. And optionally, you can pour 1 teaspoon of olive oil on the top to smear over the dough. And now our dough is ready for the first proofing. So let that dough sit and rise for 1.5 to 2 hours, or until the dough get doubled in size. Now our dough has risen well, and let's transfer this onto a lightly floured work surface. Degas the dough and roll them into shape of a log so that it will be easy for us to divide them into equal pieces. Divide them into 12 equal pieces. And then roll each piece of dough into a disc shape, which is approximately 16 to 18 centimeters in diameter and less than 2 millimeter thickness. And then we need to spread butter generously on the top of each disc. And then place it onto a plastic film, and take the next piece and repeat the same process and stack them onto the top of the previous one, and repeat until we are done with 11 pieces, and roll the 12th piece of dough and place it on the top of that. Now we got the butter layers, but as the butter is very soft now, we need to make them stiff by cooling them. So let's keep them in the freezer for 30 to 35 minutes. And now the butter is not very soft and it is pliable, and it is now easy for us to work with the dough. So roll it into a long rectangle which is 5 millimeter in thickness. And with the help of a knife or a pizza cutter, cut them into the shape of long triangles and rectangles. Here I'm planning some chocolate croissants too, so I'm leaving some of them as rectangles. At this point, if you want to keep them for later, you can freeze them well. You can just stack them in between a parchment paper and keep it in a Ziploc bag and keep it in the freezer. And whenever you need, you just take it out and bring it to room temperature and then proceed. Now to shape the croissants, let's give a small incision on the base of the triangle. And this incision in the triangle will help the croissants to keep the center from being not too thick, as the sides of the notches tend to roll out and away. Arrange the shaped croissants on a baking sheet and make sure to keep enough space between them so that they won't touch when proofing or baking. Now give a good egg wash, and now they are ready for second proofing. This second proofing is very important in making beautiful croissants. We need them to puff up, and it may take around 2 hours. Now after 2 hours they have puffed up, and let's give a good egg wash to make it more appealing to our eyes when they come out of the oven. And now they are ready to go into the oven. Bake at 400 Fahrenheit for 10 minutes and then reduce the temperature to 375 Fahrenheit and bake for another 8 to 12 minutes. After baking, we'll get a beautifully caramelized, golden brown crusted, flaky, buttery, delicious croissants. So now we can make those bakery style croissants in our own kitchen without compromising our health. Get rid of those preservatives, those trans fat that are used in the store-bought croissants, and nothing can beat that feeling of fulfillment when you look at these beautiful croissants that are made with your own hands in your own kitchen. I really hope you found the recipe easy and helpful, and I hope you will try this recipe. And please don't forget to share this recipe with your friends and family who are looking for an easy croissant recipe. And thank you so much for your love and support. Thanks for watching this video, and please don't forget to subscribe this channel so that you won't miss any upcoming recipes.